Good evening, everybody. I'm Isabel Dressel, and this is Not Your Mom's Closet Podcast. I hope everybody's doing pretty good this evening. I'm here, actually, away from my office and away from my little recording studio. I'm actually in the couch, and the couch of my, how can I say, my TV area. You know what? I was going to sit down and watch precisely a horror movie, but then I'm thinking I'm all alone, and really, it's just not my thing to be watching horror movies. But it did come to my mind that I don't know about you guys, but I am like ready to see the new upcoming Hocus Pocus movie. I can't wait till that movie comes out. I know that is not considered like real horror, but it's considered like kind of scary, but then yet funny kind of movie that Disney has always done. And I'm happy that we get an opportunity to have that to come up, on, I think it's in September, I believe, I think they're coming out with that movie. If I'm not mistaken, I hope I'm not mistaken it, or I mean, or whenever they come across it. I think it's between September or mid August or around the ending of August. I'm not very sure, but I can't. I gotta check on the dates. But anyway, it's one of those movies that I grew up, watching, and I love to watch with my kids. I honestly thought that was the most amazing movie, and I can't even stop watching the movie. When it comes to Halloween time, I love to watch that movie with my kids. And I don't know if I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you guys remember the Halloween Town. Oh gosh, I love that. That's one of the things I also loved to watch with my kids. Sadly, well, it's something that we won't be able to see anymore because some of those actors are no longer available to see. As you know, the I think the grandmother was actually the I forgot her name of that old lady. She was very, very pretty, but she was also the mother of the Princess Leia, which was the princess of Star Wars. And all these characters just blew me off. Like, sadly, they all passed away around this year, and it's very upsetting to miss good and amazing people like that, amazing actors and actresses like that. But thank God that we still have Bette Midler and those sisters of hers, which it's such an amazing thing to remember those amazing movies and those amazing actors. That's one of the things I admire the most. Movies like that, and movies like that, there are what you call something that a lot of us enjoy watching. Now, when it comes to horror, that is pretty much the only horror things that I love to watch. But to me, I think horror is something that I just don't find like to my liking, because again, I'm not a horror person. I could say, so many things. I have watched a lot of movies, but that's one of the things my daughter loves to watch, those spooky and scary movies, especially the Conjure, I think that's what it is, and I'm not really fond of those. Like we were talking about in the past, it's all have to do with religion. But then I always tell her, hey, it's what people want to believe. It's not what we think about that. Because honestly, I'm a religious person, but I don't think it as a bad thing. If you want to think about it, think about it. If you don't want to think about it, I don't think about it. Because that only happens to people that really have, that mind of theirs. Like a lot of people always talk about like how can I explain to you? they always think about things like when people are like thinking about. There's this guy that I was reading about he winning the lottery like multiple times, and it's because he said, well, it's because I manifest. It's what they are thinking about, and that's one of the things like I talk about people about manifesting and things like that, and I think it's because it's something to do with the way you are, the way you present yourself to, I would say, the universe, and how you praise yourself as a Christian and as a person. And by all means, I think I think if you are lucky, good, you deserve to win that. But I mean, on some of us, I mean, just because someone just says, "Well, I manifested," I like to think, what are they talking about? It's not that I'm trying to be, like, how can I say? I'm not thinking about it because I don't know. I could think, hey, I can, from morning to night, I can say, well, I want to be rich. I want to be rich. I'm rich. And just because I say that doesn't mean I'm gonna manifest this, because it's pretty much what I get the idea of this person saying that, which I think, in the long run, I mean, a lot of people can manifest a lot of stuff. It could manifest good things, bad things. But again, it's all again into your beliefs and your thinking. And I think that he was just, he's just happened to be a lucky person to have, that good vibe, like he had good luck, but not because he manifested and he wished that he was going to be rich. Because a lot of people, we all wish for that, and we don't get that. But that's just one of the things that, a lot of people say about, how they manifest things and they do things, and I totally get it. I mean, it's just the way people think, and I respect that. I mean, I could say, hey, I want to be rich from morning to nighttime. Am I gonna get it? No. Is it gonna take time? Maybe. But again, it's what you think, it's what you feel, and it's what you do. I mean, I could buy a dozen crystals. I can buy a dozen. How can I say, those candles with money stuff all over it, and I can say I want to manifest so much. Does it come true? No, it doesn't. Does it happen? No, it doesn't happen. No matter how many things you have purchased and how many things you have bought and how many asking or whatever you want to do to all this stuff, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. And sometimes I think it's not because, people want to think things like this happen. I honestly do, because I was, like I said, I was reading into his book, and he said that he was all manifesting this, and I said, it's what he believed. It's what he wants to think. But he just happened to be one of the luckiest person. What happened, again, if he would not have won that? He would have said that? No. I bet you he would not have said that. He would literally say, oh, well, I'm just like an average Joe, But again, people think about that. Like, I've seen people buying candles. I've seen people buying Lucky Charms. I've seen people, buying crystals. I've seen people buying, all this stuff. And I mean, I'm okay with it. I have nothing wrong with it. And again, there's like they have this thing that they cleanse themselves, and they buy little incense or whatever, to I guess purify yourself. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's just the way people want to think things will happen. And like I said, I respect that. I really do. I have nothing against that. But it's the same thing, like I tell my daughter, it's the same thing that happens to the people that want to believe in those things that happen. Like all that conjure thing. I still to today, I go, I haven't come across anything. I've never in my whole entire life ever heard of such things. There's the, like saying about, like I was telling you guys about the Llorona and all those, but it's just, like all this, it's about parents, scaring their kids out and things that people come up with, and I really think that even that Annabelle doll, I really don't think there's such thing as that. I really don't. But again, it's what people want to think, is what people want to think. I mean, I really don't want to come across Annabelle, which I hope not, but because I really don't want, again, to think nothing of it, because I really think it's all in what people want to, do and think and feel about things. Like, I totally get it that, a lot of people say that things like that do happen and things like that do exist. Maybe they do exist. And I'm thankful I haven't come across it, because I'm very blessed that I don't believe in that. And again, I am one of those, like I said, I am a Christian, and I do think that we all have an open mind of how we feel or how we think. And again, it's something that maybe some of us think about it, and maybe some of us just really don't care. Like me, like I said, I'm a Christian, but I don't believe in that, because I don't think about it, and that I will ever come across something like that. But again, it's people that just want to think about it, and they manifest this stuff, and it's something, yeah, I mean, you do get scared. It is scary to think about it so much that you literally see things and feel things, and you see things like you could see, like, if you think about it so much, yeah, you're gonna see something come out to you or something, because you're thinking about it. You're obviously manifesting this, and I totally get it, and that is why I always tell my daughter, why would you think about things like that? Why would you see things like that? If people, all they do is just think about it, they literally are harming themselves, because they're thinking about things like this. And like I tell her, those horror movies that you watch, and all that, it's just, I guess people just want to make us think, like, this does exist, and this does happen. Okay, to people that want to believe it, and it might not. Like, I don't know, I was just talking about not too long ago about the movies about technology, how our vehicles can fly instead of running and with tires on the ground. And I remember back in the 80s, we were watching future movies. And again, this is the future. And we are having electrical cars. And we do have everything that, I mean, we can just call, say, Alexa, turn the light on. Or, hey, Alexa, do this. And it does that. But again, we go back in the 80s and we're watching movies like that, where we technically are in the future. Remember the movie Back in the Future? With, I think, what's his name? I forgot his name. And it was funny because it was a vehicle flying from the back in the, I think it was like in the 70s or something like that. And then he was going back to the 50s or 40s to tell his parents about their future. See, all that, how that comes to what we are now. For me, I wish I can go back in time and tell my parents, hey, this is going to happen. I mean, this is what's going to happen. I mean, how can I predict you guys from, I wish things would have been different, but again, it's the future. It's something that we all have to work with. And yes, again, we didn't even know we're going to have those electrical cars, did we? It was just a movie. it was technically a movie that predicted the future. How about those movies? I kind of like those movies a lot better because, I mean, half of all that they put in movies, half of it has happened, like those electrical cars, and you walk into your home and you say, Alexa, turn the light on, and Alexa, turn the light off, or something like that. You can work everything through your phone, and that's something that we honestly didn't think about until I was like looking and watching my like the movies back in the 80s. They were technically predicting all this, and it was just movies. And again, it's not horror movies. It's just movies that, I mean, I love to watch, and technically I would watch over and over again to see, what's next. Like I also want to think that maybe some of these movies have a prediction. We just don't know it, but they do. With everything that's been happening, I mean, hell, I mean, who knows? I mean, some of it might be true. Like we could, the future, our cars will be flying. We're living in, like in these buildings, that everything we had to scan ourselves just to walk in through our homes, and say what kind of food we're gonna eat instead of going to the grocery store is gonna just be there automatically pop up, in our kitchens just by little capsules and stuff like that. Who knows? I really don't know. So that's one of the things that got my attention, and I was thinking, what's next? What is next? I mean, I know that whatever's happening is happening, but is the future? Remember, those movies back in the 80s were telling us what our future was going to be, with all those electrical cars, with those what do they call a flying board? Instead of being a flying board, is one of those what is it called? Those little electrical little boards that we have. With we just get on top of it and it takes us everywhere. That's what we're looking at. That is our future. Some of those movies can be, predictable. They do predict what could happen. And who knows? I mean, the more we look into them, the more we realize some of all that is happening. So I don't know. That is kind of scary. So I don't know what you guys feel, but I know for a fact I really feel like the more I watch those movies, the more I see if those movies are predicting our future. Can you imagine what's next? I mean, if they're literally telling us that we either have even extraterrestrial in our lives here, living with us, and we don't even know. But again, it's something that we need to have in mind, that those movies, maybe some of them are telling us the truth. Because some people might have thought about it as, just a movie. But if you go back and look at those movies, see all the stuff that they put in there, I technically think that maybe some of it is true, because we got electrical cars, we got Alexa that turns our lights on, our phones that activate technically our whole house. I mean, all that was in those movies. So I don't know about you, but that's kind of scary. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the technology, but to the point that it scares the heck out of me, that's for sure. And that's pretty much what I wanted to tell you tonight. And I hope you like this podcast. And I'm deeply sorry for not coming here often, but I really want to change the subject for something else. I'm not doing scary stuff, and I hope you like my podcast that I will do from now on. I will do a podcast of, things that, a lot of people just we either noticed or don't notice. So I hope you guys like this, and please stay tuned and hear me out in my podcast. So I hope you guys like it. And again, I'm Isabel Trussell, and this is Not Your Mom's Closet Podcast. So I'll see you next time. You guys have a great night. Good night, and thank you so much for being with me tonight. Good night.